A fourth stimulus check for Social Security, retirement, disability, SSDI, survivors, SSI, VA, RRB, low income, and no income. I have some information I want to share with you in this video, so let's get into it right away. But if you haven't done so yet, or if you happen to be new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button right down below the video so I can keep you updated each and every day with all of this information that is changing very rapidly. I know it's very confusing out there, and there are a lot of moving parts with all this information that is coming out every single day, but don't worry, I'm going through all the information. I distill it all down into these short videos and condense it right here for you and deliver them a few times each and every day so you can stay tuned with all of the latest updates as they are happening. So again, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate your support. I'm here to help out in any way that I possibly can, so make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below so you can stay tuned with all of these updates. All right, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. Let's get into this and talk about a fourth stimulus check focused on fixed income and low income. All right, so if you've been watching the channel for any length of time now, you know for the last month or so, I've been talking about this new massive push for a fourth stimulus check for the American people who are struggling so badly right now as a result of everything going on, including rising prices due to this incredible inflation that we haven't seen literally in decades. Well, as a result of that, there's also this new renewed push for a focused stimulus check on low-income and fixed-income beneficiaries, including the list that I mentioned at the beginning of the video: Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, RRB. So, I want to go through some new information here that I want to share with you and help clarify this a little bit more. So in just a minute here, I'm going to bring my wife in, Corey, and she's going to read an article to you so you can hear it exactly where I'm finding it from and see exactly what is being said. However, before we bring her in, let's quickly run through some of the key takeaways out of this article, and then I'll bring her in, and then we can let you go after that. But again, we can talk through these key takeaways because it's actually really important here to understand what is actually being said and what is actually going on out there right now. Because like I said, there are things changing literally every single day when it comes to a stimulus package, stimulus announcements out of Congress. I mean, it is like busy out there with everything going on. So let me quickly run through the key takeaways out of this article, and then I'll bring Corey in. So first off, basically what they talk about is this new massive push for an additional stimulus check. They narrow it down to three main reasons why an additional stimulus check would be so incredibly helpful right now. So number one, they quickly talk about unemployment. So they talk about millions of individuals who should have been receiving unemployment benefits, but unfortunately didn't get unemployment benefits for a variety of different reasons. We know that that was the situation, and there's a lot of people that are struggling out there right now who maybe were furloughed or let go, or for a variety of reasons were out of work and they never got unemployment benefits when realistically they should have been receiving them. So that's number one on their list. Number two, they specifically talk about Social Security beneficiaries and why it is so important for them to get a focused stimulus check. So be sure to pay attention to number two. That is the very important one. And of course, they talk specifically about Social Security in number two right here in this article that I'm going to have Corey read for you here in just a minute. And now number three, they do talk about some of the states that have been stepping up and sending out stimulus checks to some of the residents. Now, the problem with this is it does not reach everybody, and typically these state-funded programs are much smaller. As you know, a lot of the states are sending out maybe $250, maybe $200, maybe $375, maybe $500 or $600 in some instances. But it's certainly not a $1,400 stimulus check. It's not a $1,200. And like I said, maybe in some instances like California, it's like a $600 check. But for the most part, it's usually just a couple hundred. Well, let's be honest with ourselves. A couple $100 in the form of a one-time check, it's certainly nice. Of course, we're not going to deny it. We'll take it. I mean, we'll gladly take it, right? But it's not going to be life-changing, and it's certainly not going to help for all that long. It might help for a day or two, but that's about it. It's not going to go very far. But when it comes to these larger stimulus checks, the $1,200, the $1,400 that we've been seeing previously from the first stimulus check package and the third stimulus check package, those are the big ones, right? Those are the ones issued by the federal government. They're the ones who have the bankroll to send out bigger payments like that. So even though some states have stepped up, the problem with it is they don't reach everybody that needs them, And a lot of times it's tied to something else like a back to work bonus, or, if you filed a tax return, or in some instances, they even say people who receive monthly benefits like Social Security, SSDI, SSI, VA, maybe not even be eligible. Well, again, that's not fair, right? As we all know, fixed income beneficiaries are the ones who are being crushed and hurt the most as a result of all of this inflation, everything going on. If anything, these are the people who should be getting the stimulus checks over everybody else, right? Fixed income and low income should be getting the checks hands down above and beyond everybody else. So anyway, so with that being said, I just want to quickly run through the key takeaways. But with that being said, I'm going to bring Corey in right now. She's going to read this article to you. And again, please pay attention to number 2. That is the one where they specifically talk about Social Security beneficiaries and why it's so important to get this next stimulus check. Now remember, all of these points in the entire article is talking about the push for more stimulus checks and why it is so important. They laid out 3 reasons. I could come up with probably 25 different reasons of why a stimulus check is so badly needed right now, but this article just lays out 3. Either way, so I'm going to let you go. I'm going to let Corey come in, read that article to you. I'm not going to come back at the end because I'm just going to let you go after that. But here's the thing. If you haven't done so yet, make sure to subscribe by hitting the button right down below so you don't miss any videos going forward, as things are changing very rapidly. And I'm here for you with all those latest updates each and every day. And feel free to go back and check out any of the nearly 2,000 videos right here on the channel. All right, thanks again. I really do appreciate it. Here's Corey, and I'll catch you all again later in the next video. All right, Corey, take it away, and I'll see you soon.
Stimulus Update: The Push for a Fourth Stimulus Check and Who Should Get It, by Dana George. As the president focuses on the infrastructure fight, Democratic lawmakers continue to call for additional stimulus payments. Here are 3 reasons why it makes sense. Number 1, unemployment. Is the unemployment rate lower than it was this time last year? Absolutely. But there are still nearly 7 million Americans out of work. Unless we be tempted to believe those folks aren't looking for jobs, or they collected so much through boosted unemployment benefits that they no longer need a job, here's a sobering fact. By February of 2021, only 30% of people without jobs received unemployment. That leaves 70% who either did not know they were eligible or fell through unemployment cracks without benefits. Who were the 70%? According to Eliza Forsyth, a labor economist at the University of Illinois, the reason so many people never received unemployment is not entirely clear. Some who were eligible did not realize they could apply. Some wrongingly believed they were ineligible. For example, a temporarily furloughed person may not have known they were eligible for unemployment assistance. Then, some were not eligible even though they had no chance of landing a job. They included recent college graduates and people just entering the labor market. There are also millions of people in the U.S. who had no internet connection, and with a record number of calls to state unemployment agencies, many likely gave up trying to get through. Those who missed out on unemployment benefits may be prime candidates for additional direct stimulus funds. Number 2, senior citizens. Stimulus checks were a boon for senior citizens. Overwhelmingly, these retirees could not file for unemployment benefits and don't benefit from advanced child tax credit checks. While 2022 Social Security beneficiaries will see a 5.9% cost of living adjustment, Medicare's Part B premium is set to increase by $21.60 per month in 2022. Medicare Part B covers outpatient services like doctor's appointments, lab tests, and diagnostic screenings. Here's how it all shakes out. No matter how you slice it, according to AARP, the estimated average Social Security retirement benefit is $1,543 a month. Add in the COLA, and the average is bumped up by $91 to $1,634. Subtract the Medicare Part B increase of $21.60, and the average is back down to $1,612.40. No matter how you slice it, senior citizens depend on Social Security checks to live, may be prime candidates for additional stimulus funds. With the number of Delta variant COVID cases on the rise in many states and inflation pushing up the price of consumer goods, the Senior Citizens League, a nonpartisan advocacy group, is calling on Congress to send a one-time $1,400 Social Security stimulus payment to seniors. And number 3, some states have stepped up. As hope for another federal stimulus check began to fade, some states stepped in with their own targeted stimulus funds. For example, California sent $600 checks to taxpayers earning between $30,000 and $75,000 annually. Florida promised $1,000 checks to educators and frontline workers. Maryland provided families with a $500 stimulus check, and Michigan rewarded teachers with up to $3,000 in hazard pay. However, most states had not done more for their citizens, and all Republican-led states cut boosted unemployment benefits before they were scheduled to end. That leaves a huge swath of Americans living hand to mouth. As a Lending Club study found this summer, the majority of U.S. consumers live paycheck to paycheck. The rising cost of living, coupled with years of nearly stagnant wage growth, has left 54% of consumers with just enough to get by. The study found that 21% of U.S. adults had little or no money left in their bank accounts after paying bills. Americans barely get by may be prime candidates for additional stimulus funds. Whether or not Congress will agree to more stimulus funds, it is clear that there are millions in need. If you would like lawmakers to consider another round of stimulus checks, you can let your thoughts be known by contacting elected representatives from your area.